day 2 of the Dublin Tech Summit. If you saw a quick 10-second video there, ignore that. It wasn't me, it wasn't us. We had nothing to do with it. But yeah, busy all day yesterday. Lots of networking, as we all know, drinking yesterday evening. So probably a little worse for it this morning. But I've got a great guest. I've got Brian from Momntum without the U. That's the best way to describe it. E. Jesus, spelling is not my strong suit. Basically, let's start with the obvious question. What it is, what do we do, and then why?
Sounds good. So I think it's always good just to really start with what is the problem.
Yeah.
And for us, and I think pretty much the majority of people would agree with this, that customer service is broken.
Yeah.
You have extremely long wait times. It's really disconnected. And overall, I think the majority of people feel that it's a bit transactional, yes. Where, you're a number more than anything else. Take a ticket, deal with my problem, and then move on to the next thing.
Sure.
So we've decided to build something completely from scratch to, in a way, solve so much of the problems that we see from the ground up within customer service. And what we're building is a relationship AI. So it can do lots of different things that I'm sure we'll dig into, but I'll pause there and let you kind of...
Yeah, so I love, it's like, all right, 2 minutes, we got the word AI. Like the thing is, like, and I think this is coming across over the last few days, that it's the AI thing. It's like, can we all stop being afraid of it? It's not like about thinking about taking jobs. It's about, here's new tools, new resources to allow people to do what we do better and do less of the crap we don't want to do, and in this case deal with something in a better, faster, easier way. I mean, I know customer service. I worked for many years in Carphone Warehouse back in the day, so God forbid, I'm very aware of the problems of customer service. People coming in screaming at you and like, I didn't do anything. It's not my fault that the customer care line is a 5-hour wait. This is not my fault. I'm just the guy at the till. I mean, I assume this basically was built out of frustration of how bad customer service is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of challenges in customer service. There's, if you take any business that's out there and they're growing, there comes almost like an inflection point where the amount of customers and inbound inquiries that they're getting from their customers, it becomes very difficult to economically deal with that inside the business itself. Sure. And you can see this where, businesses, sometimes they have to start to outsource different aspects of their customer service. And when they do, the majority of those outsourced companies, they don't necessarily care as much as the internal company themselves. Yeah. And there's a lot of problems with that when it comes to, let's say, brand loyalty and the feeling and sentiment of how the customer is connected to the business and so on. But overall, we think with the capability of the relationship aspect of our model, we can enable those businesses to keep customer service within their organization. So it's almost like an extra tool or an extra enabler that will help the businesses to take the volume of customer service queries that they see and being able to deal with them in a way that the original founders and people who created the business, the same, brand, same loyalty, same aspects of the business too.
I think this is like, I like this because instead of working customer service before, and like, I think in the tech sector, Air are criminally known for how bad their customer service are, but they've obviously bounced between centers in Egypt and India for years. And as you said, it's a very transactional thing because even these centers know that they're on a 2-year term. So like long-term problems aren't going to be theirs. It's like, let's just tick a box, get your problem done. And I think it's about that customer loyalty. It's that experience with the brand and go, these are people who looked after me. I'm going to stay with them. I know them. I trust them. And it's building that kind of customer trust, right? Am I correct in kind of saying that?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different aspects to this for us. So when we think about relationships, what does that really mean? First of all, if you have a customer and they're, getting in contact with the customer service department of a business, they have a lot of different aspects of what they're trying to convey. It's either on the phone, on WhatsApp, on Messenger. There might be different mediums of how they would like to get in contact with the business.
Sure.
a lot of businesses tend to look at the channels that they can cover and then ask their customers to communicate with them on those channels.
Yeah.
Layla is our AI personality.
Okay.
And Layla will operate across all of the channels that you would like her to. She's available 24/7, can speak 700 languages, and is fully connected to what the business would like to convey externally to customers.
Okay.
So she then starts to build relationships with the different customers. How many times did John get in contact with this business? Does he have any open issues that are there with the business, and how can we resolve some of those issues? What's the purchase history? All of these different kind of aspects that will enable an amazing customer service experience from your side when you're calling into a business to get something resolved.
Yeah, because normally if you're meshing, like nobody's meshing a business with good news, right?
It is. So it's strange to say that we've had some experiences where Layla is dealing with a query, and recently a customer turned around and said, "Can I please have the information of who your manager is? Because I would like to tell them how well of a job you've done." And this kind of blows our mind, because one of the biggest metrics that we want to kind of hold ourselves to is she building a human-like relationship with the customers, and do the customers really feel heard and listened to about their pain points?
Sure.
If somebody's willing to make a recommendation to a manager based on the outcome of a conversation with Layla, that's a huge plus for us.
So, please correct me if I'm wrong. So is the idea with Layla kind of like almost like a humanoid experience that somebody shouldn't actually recognize that they're talking to an AI, or do we tell them that they're interacting with an AI, or is it very much like, let's see if we can build up human relationships through the software?
If you ever ask Layla, "Are you an AI?" Absolutely.
Sure.
She will turn around and say, "Of course, yeah, I am an AI." And I think that's very important from a security standpoint. Even from, we have our own data protection policies in place, where if we start to use any external frontier LLM models, we have specific rules in place where those LLM providers aren't allowed to train their models on any data from Momntum. When we open or close a thread or use an LLM for any event, all data is automatically deleted afterwards, and so on. So data privacy and security is a huge point, and always protecting the customer and their data.
Huh. That's really interesting. Like, I don't know. It's blown my mind a little bit. So essentially, we've got this like virtual assistant, essentially, who's able to look across the business and take in all customer queries, whether that's like the on-site chatbot, right, or messenger services, WhatsApp services, or phone services. It kind of crosses all of these channels.
Yeah. So we've seen, in 12 months, we'll do just over 6 million in revenue with our current clients for them. And this is purely just came out of, in the majority of cases, came out of nowhere. It was revenue that they would never have seen before.
Right.
So where does this revenue come from? It's a lot to do with within our RLM, which is our relationship language model. We really fine-tune our model based on building the relationship with a customer in a long-term approach. So keeping away from all the transactional elements and starting to really think about, is the customer creating a solid relationship with the business where the lifetime value of how that customer feels connected with the business is growing and growing. We've had crazy statistics where essentially 2 out of 3 people, if they have a bad experience, a bad customer service experience, they'll drop that company completely.
Oh no, I'm absolutely one of those. I am a cynical, bitter little man. Like, there's a hotel. Oh no, I'm horrible. Like, I can't. And it's probably because of how long I worked in customer service that I'm like, if some places don't do basic level customer service, I'm like, I'm not coming here again. Like, there was actually a hotel in Dublin, I won't name them right now, but I had booked for this week, for this week. And the night before the stay, I got contacted going, "Oh, sorry, we don't have availability for your second night." I was like, "Well, I booked this 6 weeks ago, so really not my problem, figure it out." And they're like, "No, booking's cancelled, sorry, we can't fulfill it." So, cool, I'm now given 24 hours to find a hotel in Dublin. Are you having a laugh? So I was like, "Right, you're done." And I would have used that hotel for the last 4 years every time I come to Dublin. So like every 6 weeks or so I'd be coming up. I was like, you've just lost a bit of money there. But
and when we think about that wider problem, so not only will 2 out of 3 people drop a business with a bad customer service experience, they'll also tell 5 other people about this business.
It's your online reviews, it's your Trustpilot. If it's jobs boards, it's like Glassdoor and all this. You'll get people who'll go out of their way to be like, right, I'm going to make sure I put this message as many places as possible.
Yeah.
You've also got the Facebook warriors who will really push the subject and go, I had a horrible experience here, nobody should deal with them. It has a knock-on effect. What is it? One of the lads I know who's doing hotel feedback loop kind of customer service. He was saying one bad review can cost each hotel 15 grand per bad review. And I'm sure that has a knock-on effect for any other business, whether that's like, barbers, nail salons, whether that's stores in town. It could be any business, I'm sure. Yeah, that's the cost of a bad review now.
It's crazy. So we've seen it's a $136 billion problem in the US alone on a yearly basis. So the size and scope of this is just insane. But on the other side, to kind of focus on what outcomes we've seen in launching with the customers that are currently on the Momntum platform, doing really simple, well, what I would call simple integration.
Sure.
Yeah, where you might be on a phone call with Layla and you've rang up to, let's say, book an appointment with a salon or something similar. If, let's say, the conversation goes on for too long, or there's aspects within the conversation that is more suited to text, Layla will say, hey, listen, this has kind of gone on for 2 or 3 minutes. If you want, I can finish up this, send you your booking confirmation in WhatsApp, and continue the conversation there, where you can just text me any additional information that you want. So it's true omni-channel in a lot of respects. You can start a conversation on Facebook Messenger, continue it on Instagram direct messenger, and then when you phone call or whatever it might be, it's all completely married.
That's clever. So basically it takes your ticket or your whatever way you want to phrase it, and basically can keep the thread going through. And once that thread is closed, it's closed, and that obviously is the security aspect of it. So the thread can follow your journey through all of the platforms, and then say, cool, we've helped you, we're happy, boom, done.
So our goal then, when you think about the wider issue, is, I think a lot of companies at the moment are really focused on developing for the current customer service marketplace and the challenges that it faces there. We really want to build something completely new, or have built something completely new from the ground up that is fit for purpose in today's landscape of what customer service is. Sure. Customer service is, you have your phone, you have a query for a business. If that business can, first of all, you can send your message on any medium, gets back to you straight away, deals with you really like a person, and it feels personable and intimate, and has all of that connection with it. We have already seen with the current clients, like the LTV and revenue and relationship to that business just skyrockets.
Yeah, I think that's an aspect that so many businesses can forget. It's the knock-on effect. It's how many customers could we lose through shitty customer service. It's how much more customers can we get through good customer service. Like, I used to see it like, Jesus, like I actually grew up on the floor of my granddad's jewelry shop. Like, so that's from when I was a kid. Like, we were just tossing the back to do fucking watch repairs and chain repairs. So this is what I grew up around. So, but like, I would always see it was like, somebody buys their wedding ring or their engagement ring, and it's like they had a nice experience. So when the kids' communion comes around, they're coming in buying the St. Christopher and the watch, and you become their place for every life aspect. Next time there's communion, next time there's confirmation, if it's christening stuff, then their brother or sister is going to do the same. It's like, oh yeah, Mary comes here to do when she's getting these stuff. Yeah, she says you always look after her. Now you've got the whole family. And it has that knock-on effect of going, one really good customer service experience can be worth an absolute fortune for you, not just now, but in 5 years' time.
Exactly. So to take your granddad shop and then, what he has created and the connection to it and how customers feel is all based on his vision and how that is all conveyed. If we think about his shop being, maybe there's a couple of more franchises and it becomes super successful, and he may or may not want to grow the business, but let's say he does and grows the business. At some point it becomes challenging for your granddad's, reason and vision behind the business to be conveyed across all of the different franchise stores.
100%.
But with the current technology, we can do that, and we witness the repercussions or the value that brings through what Momntum is doing now.
No, because I definitely saw it was a case of, like, he died in 2001, and I pop into shop at Christmas time now just to give a handout for the week or whatever from the current owners. And I still have, like, old ladies who come in and go, geez, I remember your granddad used to. And like, fucking hell, that's 20 odd years ago, like, Jesus. And they'll still come in and go, I remember your granddad here. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm only here for a week, but they'll wait to come in.
It's crazy.
And but like, this goes to show us, like the value of customer service is one of the most underappreciated pieces of business. It's like, yeah, we've got a great product. Yeah, we've got a great store. We've got a great price point. It's like, cool, we're going to look after the people who are giving you revenue.
Yeah. So they say that it currently costs between 5 and 25 times more to get a new customer into your business compared to retaining a current one.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge though. Like, you think about, I always tend to bring it back to coffee shops, where the owner or person who created the coffee shop at the very beginning, they know everyone's name. They know your order when you walk in. Brian, it's great to see you again. Will I stick on your Americano?
Yeah.
And there's a real strong bond relationship where you feel a part of that business's growth and journey. And to the business owner's perspective, he or she wants to grow that business, to take what they've put so much energy and effort and sweat into, and now to turn it into something that potentially is bigger. And at some point, there is a really strong effort that's required in taking the customer service principles and aligning the wider company on that.
Yeah.
And that's the one challenge that we would love to solve, to enable those businesses through our platform to see in a really simplistic way, here's all of your customers, here's the ones that have a really strong relationship with your company at the moment, here's the ones that are dropping off a little bit. Do you want to send them an offer or a message to reinvigorate the relationship and bring them back in?
Oh, that's marketing 101. I love that. I really like that. We used to do that. Obviously, my background is digital marketing. So part of the game, obviously, is looking at, when it was close shop, look at that last time they ordered. If it was a year ago, you send them like a gift voucher or something on their birthday, like a 10% offer, and go, hi, we're still here. It's like that soft touch kind of stuff. So, like, it's a really interesting time for you, because obviously, like, you've been working over the last bit of time. You obviously got Sure Valley and Adventure back in you now, isn't it?
We do indeed, yeah. So the
big boys.
We couldn't have wished for two of the better, best VCs to come in and to back us and to partner with us. Extremely delighted to have that behind us and to take on the next chapter.
So, like, so kind of how have we got to where we're at right now? So obviously, the last kind of year or so, we've been testing, demoing with different customers, because I saw official release was yesterday.
Yeah. The official announcement, I guess, was yesterday.
Yes.
How did we get here? It's been a fun journey.
Yeah.
We started. So I have a product agency as well, and one of our long clients is a aesthetic clinic called Sisu.
Yeah.
So they have different branches in the US, in Ireland, in the UK, and what we really wanted to do is to figure out how could we look at the customer service problem, but how could we develop an innovative solution that isn't the current technical tools that are on the market. And so we spent quite a substantial amount of time, I would say, building as a team what would a relationship language kind of model, a really relationship focused model look like. How would it know how to build a relationship. And it comes back to so many different points where if you met somebody here at the Dublin Tech Summit, what would you remember about them in your mind to say, I think that they really like this, or they spoke this way? All these different really small idiosyncrasies or kind of data points that you will remember about their character and who they are.
Sure.
And so we started to experiment with really simple things, which would be if you ring some customer service lines or phones at the moment, and they don't solve your problem, you might need to ring back twice or 3 times. And every time you need to reiterate the same problem over and over again to a different person.
Then it's just sent to a different department, and then the whole music that just winds you up. It's just not a good experience.
So can we first of all holistically enable our platform to understand the business core offering and what they're looking to sell? And then second of all, understand the customers. So we built some proof of concepts. First of all, for Sisu, that went phenomenally well. We then started to expand it further to other med spa companies. And then eventually started to look at, well, let's try other industries. So we're very lucky to partner with a company called Action 24.
Yeah.
So they're a large home security provider. And they really were so open to a partnership and work together with us to see how can we enable an amazing customer service experience for their customers. So this is where we start to looking at technical manuals so that we can enable Layla to answer customer service queries quite quickly. How do I change my alarm code? How do I do blah, blah, blah? All of the different really technical aspects, and Layla will be able to help the customer understand those different challenges and figure it out.
There's so many ways. My head's spinning because I'm thinking of all the different places. Like you could just drop that and go perfect. Like for the home security thing, it's obviously cool. I don't need to have agents working at 2 a.m. to call someone if the alarm goes off. You can have Layla do it.
Yeah. And now, even working with Perry, who I know was on the podcast recently as well.
Brilliant product as well.
A phenomenal product and amazing team. Yeah. So Momntum is now powering that aspect as well. So it's growing at a fantastic pace. I think the challenge that we face at the moment is there's a lot of inbound inquiries. There's a lot of people that want to jump onto the Momntum platform. Sure. And we need to ramp up in order to onboard those customers successfully and make sure that they have a phenomenal experience.
Is there business sectors, kind of types of it? What's our perfect customers right now? I assume where we're at, we're obviously looking to scale. So it's about getting the right brands that we can work with. You're not going to be looking at my little website and going, oh yeah, because customer service right now is just me.
No, I think it's a great question. I think for us, we often kind of, ask ourselves this question quite a lot. I think for now, it's really around anything that is high customer touch and really, data backed. So I would think about airlines. I would think about hotels, restaurants, anything that is really high customer touch where people are phoning, people are looking to book tables, people are trying to rent a car, any kind of service where there's a large CRM or aspect to the technology that enables Layla to deal with those queries successfully.
Huh. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. So right, obviously we are where we are now. Where do we picture this kind of being, I suppose, both next year and a few years down the line? What's short-term, long-term kind of visions?
I think we're going to completely disrupt the industry. I think
I think they will, actually, to be honest.
Thank you. I think, as you say yourself, I think for quite a substantial amount of time, people have not deeply focused on the relationship between a business and a customer. And I think with the revolutions that's happening in AI and us being able to leverage those frontier LLMs and build our proprietary relationship models on top, gives us the capability to enable businesses to have really strong connections with those customers. So what does that mean? Economically, these customers are going to start to bring in more revenue than they had before, because they'll be able to deliver more of their products and services to these customers. It is a global problem that we're looking to solve. And it's going to be a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, like I'm very much thinking of from the consumer standpoint. Like for the business, obviously it's a money making tool. I'm very much looking at it from the consumer side, going, if it's an easier life.
Yeah, I mean, there is a revenue aspect to it, to the business, but there's also a visibility aspect. There's a testing aspect where a business is now able to deeply understand the different customers that love their products and services. This means, like, even from an R&D perspective, they can start to think about, well, what product should we bring next?
Yes.
Is there cohorts of golden customers that love our business that we can start to ask to potentially beta test or trial new products? It helps you in a larger kind of visibility standpoint, understand your customers and understand the relationship that your business has to it. And in a lot of respects, it's very hard to see that today.
Yeah, it is. Like, I think it's mad though that we're in 2025. Like, bad customer service is just like, it's accepted. it's just accepted. Like, anybody, I know I'm shitting on the air a little bit, but everybody ever, it's like a known thing. It's like, oh, please don't make me call them.
It's great. Like, even from the fundamental wording, a chat bot, we would never call Layla a bot. Just for that perspective, it's almost like taking an automated engineering aspect of just regular kind of decision trees and saying, well, that's going to field the first triage or level 1 support for us. I think if you bring customers back to the vantage point of meeting the coffee shop owner or being in your granddad's jewelry store, they're going to tell everybody about that business. They're going to love the relationship with that business, and both the customer and the business are going to grow and love it so much.
That's fascinating. And like, even on the other end, I think there's a lot of businesses that get, I'll call it the smell no fart syndrome, of they think they're all fucking wonderful and that there's everything they do is fantastic. But if you have a dashboard there and it gives you that kind of 1 to 10 rating, and you can see your top customers and you go, brilliant, they're great, they're looked after, they're minded, we love you guys. But then you look at the other side and go, okay, we have 100 of the same complaints? Okay, now we know we have a specific issue. Now we can go isolate, deal with that issue, and make it so that this isn't going to be a problem for us long term. Or we can decide, okay, that's not something that is worthwhile or problem fixing, so we're just going to accept that that's what we're going to get battered on. Whatever angle a company wants to take with that, that's fine. But they have the data to make those decisions so that lower end of the scale, the guys that are coming away still disheartened or annoyed, it's like, okay, well, we've been triggered with this same problem 150 times, 100 times, 200 times. Okay, that means that this is a problem. So let's go fix that. And if you fix that, then customers aren't going to be pissed off with you. And then you're going to have the knock-on effect that you're going to have more customers who are going to enjoy it on the upper side of that funnel.
Exactly. So what we're seeing the path move towards is, well, first of all, can Layla ring fence and predict exactly what you described? This is a problem that seems to be happening over and over again. Can Layla develop a solution to that problem and say, we need to adapt this product, or this is something that is technically not working in our booking flow, or whatever it might be? And then can Layla, as she has deep relationships with each customer, target each customer individually, speak to them as they like to be spoken to on the channel they wish to, and bring them back on board to say, we fixed this. Let's go and, do you want to try again? How do you feel about it? And so on.
It's clever. It's really clever. Like, I really like it because obviously it's just, I've worked in marketing, I've worked in sales. The customer service thing makes sense to me. And the fact that it's so bad at the moment. I mean, look, there's obviously going to always be businesses, the likes of Ryanair, don't care. And that's fine. That's their prerogative and that's their business model. But I think, like, businesses, when they have that information, they can make better decisions for their customers. Because I think, especially now that everything's gone so, and I love online, but I think because everything's gone so online with online shopping, people miss that personal connection with brands. So it becomes more one-off transaction based. Like let's say, 10 years ago, people would have been loyal to Nike because the Nike stores were cool. They had all the right celebrities wearing their gear. You walked in, the shop was all that black tones, and there was always a discount rate where you could get some good stuff. Now it's just like I'll buy that shirt off the website and gone. So you don't have that. I think that personal connection with businesses and brands is kind of fallen away over the last 5 or so years. So I suppose something like this, the idea is to kind of close that gap again and make it more personable again going forward, which is logical in an online world. I mean, from a company's perspective, like I assume someone like a product manager, customer service manager, they're going to see this dashboard and get like key information, or what is it that the company themselves actually get to see on there? And because obviously you were saying about the data security and deleting threads, so it's obviously key information that we're able to disseminate back.
Yeah, so we have our own infrastructure, and when we need to use a frontier model or similar, we can go out in order to accomplish that, but keeping everything under our infrastructure and keeping our own kind of data compliance aspects is always at the forefront of our mind. But I think you bring up a great point. Once we get past the coffee shop owner or your granddad's jewelry store, and you think about an organization the size of Nike, brand is that connection. It's the founder, the instilling the what the business was here to do, moved up to a larger scale, and how customers feel about that business is the brand awareness of it. And I think helping to ensure that Momntum is trained on what those brand aspects are and using it when having conversations with customers is vital to that journey too.
I think that's really cool, because I suppose it's that, as you said, it's the brand values. I'm just picturing how funny it would be to have Layla working on a Ryanair customer service, like, here, I booked this. It's like, and
I think, I remember at the very beginning because Sisu is, founded from Cork, we started to play around with, could we spin up a version of Layla that had a Cork accent?
Okay, yeah, now this is...
And that was a lot of fun to do, because it is, like if somebody is using different dialects, emojis, things like this, she will pick up on it and start to converse back in that manner, which is both very interesting, but people love it too, because they really feel it's a local business in that respect, that they're speaking almost in the same tonality as what they are.
That's fucking mad. So right, so let's say, I'm just going to give 2 very different type businesses here. We've got like the nail salon, and then we've got the tire shop. They're both obviously customer facing. They both have inventory. They both need bookings and times for their customers to come in. Layla's going to act differently for both of them because the customer's very different, right?
She will act differently in a lot of different respects there. First of all, who is the customer? Second of all, who is the business? And what is the overlap between both? And she will then, based on conversational history and messages, start to understand the tonality, the context, the emotion within the conversation. Even when we think about voice and our phone product, you can convey so much more emotion within a phone call.
Yeah.
If you say I'm hungry versus I'm hungry, there's so much different aspects to it. So that can really help to train our ORLM based on that too. But I think, to go back to the Ryanair aspect, every business wants to have, a growing customer base, a customer base that does love their business. And I don't think it's in any way different for Ryanair. It's a challenge when you have the sheer amount of customers trying to buy from an amazing service provider. And dealing with that. And I think they do a phenomenal job at dealing with that. I think it's now taking that at scale. How can the likes of a Momntum enable them to jump to the next tier, take something that is not really, is in a way kind of revolutionarily built from the ground up to solve exactly the problem that they see.
Yeah, like there's so many different avenues because obviously there's online only businesses now as well. There's bricks and mortar businesses. There's omnichannel businesses. I find it very interesting for like online only. So like things like a Gomo, there's no store presence, and they're a telecoms company, and there's no store presence for them. From a customer care standpoint, having been inside it before, is a fucking nightmare because a lot of customers, if there's something wrong with a SIM card, they're like, well, I need you to call me. It's like, well, fucking hell, my phone isn't working.
Yeah.
And it's this kind of, never-ending loop of, well, I can't contact you because the thing that I need to contact you of is the problem. So then I'm going to use my laptop or a text service or this, that, and the other. So I know for businesses like that have been online only ever, the customer service is different. And like this is all, it's all different industries and stuff for this, but I think that kind of avenue is very interesting because you can still fix the problems, you can still build the customer relations without having to have a physical bricks and mortar store for someone to walk into. And I suppose that's what Ryanair probably has been very good at. They have that reputation. They lean into the skit, and they use their social media channels as the way to kind of poke fun at themselves almost. And that's obviously what helps with. It's like everybody knows, sure, I'm buying it because it's fucking cheap. Like it's not because I want to be spoken to like I'm a prince today. Mm-hmm. But it's that thing of then you get the online owned businesses, the likes of Gomo, the likes of some modern clothes shops, and it's like how do they? As you said, it's that closing in the brand loop and figuring out their problems. So you don't need to have brick and mortar shop for someone to walk into and go, "I've a problem here, fix it."
D2C in general or direct to consumer is the reason it exists is to allow businesses to build a superior product without having to invest so much on either the actual channels themselves or bricks and mortar kind of stores and things like that. So again, they're really focused on trying to build the best product they can for the consumer who's going to use it. And I think a product like Momntum enables that even further. They look at their customer service, let's say, within a D2C brand, having something like this where it's going to enable more consumer relationships will be an absolute no-brainer. We've seen some of our clients where they're hitting over a 4,000% return on investment.
I saw that in the case study. I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Like that's a huge growth.
It is, but I also think that it's one of these. It's a direct metric to the work that we're doing, where the consumer really enjoys the customer service aspect. And because of that, they're willing to repeat purchase over and over again.
Because it really does show the value in good customer service. Which I've said it for years. It's like you go into so many places and you just have somebody sitting behind the counter and like, wow. It's like, no, just pretend you care for 5 minutes even, and it makes such a difference to everybody's day. It's
I mean it can be stressful too. I mean, some people have so many different jobs to do that it can be very difficult to balance every customer service query.
Sure.
I think having a companion, having somebody alongside you to make that easier is powerful.
Like, okay, so in terms of like, I have a business today and I'm coming to you guys and going, right, let's do this. What does like the onboarding process look like? Because I assume there's a period of time here where the model has to learn, where Layla has to learn about the business, or is it literally plug and go?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think so. First of all, the one thing that we never want Layla to be is incapable of actually taking action on a customer's behalf. So that means we need to be integrated with lots of different service providers, CRMs, technology, whatever it might be. For example, with the airline integrated into the booking system, with the salon integrated into the CRM or the booking system behind that as well. So we're working to expand further and further every day. The team is working on more integrations, the likes of Shopify, all these different tools, to widen the amount of capability that Layla has.
Sure.
So business can come along, click, 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 add in their CRM, add in their services, and Layla is then enabled. The next thing is, at the beginning, we'll train her on websites, any documentation, any information. But we see the training of Layla on an organization or business case by case basis to be almost like you're bringing somebody new into the business.
Literally thinking that I was like, this sounds like onboarding a new staff member.
Yeah. So, taking the likes of some people remotely will record videos and say, you go here and then you do this, and then, all these kind of training concepts. Other people will have PDFs or links to different internal documentation. And Layla will ingest all of this, and you get to play with her within the Momntum dashboard, see how she would respond to different queries, give her a phone call. And all of these aspects then are what she's like from day one. After that, it's looking at how she's dealing with every conversation. And you have the ability within the dashboard to add feedback on how she dealt with that conversation. So again, it's almost like shadowing in a restaurant where, okay, you did really well there.
Hilarious. I'm just thinking like of a digital assistant that's just like, okay, teach me this, show me this. Yeah, okay, give me another 2 weeks, I'll be ready to go or whatever.
Yeah. And you only need to do that once because you're not going to have to rehire Layla.
Yeah.
So it's providing as much feedback to her as possible. She gets stronger and stronger in her capabilities, but also in her confidence. And deals with more of the customer service queries, and it's an evolving process from there.
It's really interesting. So it is like onboarding a new staff member, basically a couple of weeks where they're in the background learning, and then when we turn on the switch, then they're monitored,
exactly,
see what they're doing, and then make tweaks after that. That's fascinating because I'm thinking of so many different use cases here, and like
it's crazy. Like even from Sisu's perspective, they have a lot of clinics in Miami. And so a lot of their customers would speak Spanish. We've seen German to Urdu to all of these different languages where people will just want to converse in their language.
We'll pick that up straight away and just literally flip the script and start talking in that native language.
It's scary.
And that's
not scary, but more I don't know. I've always wanted to be able to speak more than one language, and when I see it happen, I always kind of wish that I had that capability.
Sure.
But she's extremely, powerful in the linguistics. Never gets tired or sleepy. Is there 24/7.
Means your customer service 24/7. It means you don't have waiting hold times, I assume.
Yeah. So the biggest challenge in customer service is, wait times. It's so that all of that can be resolved almost immediately.
Yeah, one of my mates works actually, he does like planning for call centers in terms of staff loads and times, and here's the peak days, here's the peak hours, so that they can basically maximize how much staff they have to try and minimize hold times.
Yeah,
as much as possible.
Then you have even wider problems like a lot of the Nordic countries. They struggle to find people who will be willing to kind of jump in on the customer service role. And it's very difficult to get somebody outside of the Nordics who is able to speak Swedish, Finnish, or Norwegian. So having the likes of a Layla who can jump in on those conversations almost immediately helps to resolve some of those.
It's really interesting to me because I'm just, as I said, I keep the head is spinning here because I'm thinking of so many different like ways of using it. So like, let's say like I'm a customer service person, I'm working in the background, I can actually then like basically feed off Layla's data. That's going to help me to do my job better as well. It's just like, sounds like a no-brainer. Which is, I'm sure, why Sure Valley and Active got in this early. Like, just going, yeah, let's go, like, because it's so fucking obvious.
It's a really, really interesting problem to solve.
Yeah, well, by the sounds of it, you have. I'm actually fascinated to have a poke around and have a look at it because I think I know a few hundred companies in Ireland and abroad alone that could definitely do with it because I think, Joe, it is, and it's definitely the highlight of the last 2 days is that everybody talks about AI in terms of it's terrifying. It's going to do this, it's going to do that. Everybody talks about data in terms of it's terrifying. It's doing this, it's doing that. And then everybody wants the sexy businesses. It's like, oh, we're doing this. Like, I'm making a fancy football game. It's fun. It's happy. It's bouncy. But I'm not actually making any change. I'm just there having a good time. But like, I talked to a transport company yesterday, and I was like, yeah, transport's not a sexy industry. But what they're doing is fucking nuts. Talking to yourself now, it's like customer service. Nobody wants to do customer service because, like, cool, my grandma's just going to shout at me. Because that's the perception. It's just like, oh, I'm going to have somebody just scream at me for the day. So it's not what you'd call the sexiest space, but by dealing with an obvious and real problem that every single one of us has faced at least once a week forever, it's a fucking money spinner for companies to go, okay, let's just do this right. How have we got this far without doing it right? It's just mind-blowing to me.
It is our biggest challenge at the moment. You know, people are crying out to kind of jump on the platform after seeing the results that we've delivered so far. And we're very excited to get them on board as well. So it's just really using this pre-seed round in order to bring them on board and start to grow out.
Yeah. So basically where we're at now is we're obviously working with the two VC companies. We're starting the onboarding process to more customers, and basically this time next year it should just be commonplace in pretty much Irish business, and then we go abroad.
I hope so. I mean, I hope the customers really enjoy the experience with Layla and the businesses. Yeah. And I hope to see like a really strong relationships being built. And I think if we're staying true to the KPIs that matter within our business, you know, customers having an amazing experience, relationships growing between the two, and LTV increasing substantially with these businesses, I think that would be a great place.
I know it sounds like you're on the right track to it. Honestly, God, I will be keeping track of you because there's a few businesses I've met over the last year or two doing this, and I'm just like, yeah, this is going to go at 100 miles an hour. The second it turned on, I think this is so obvious. I think, Joe, is anybody who's worked in customer service before is going to see the benefits straight away and go, oh yeah, let's do that. Mm-hmm. So is there anything that you feel that we need to talk about today that we haven't already? Or do we think we've kind of covered all aspects of what we need to discuss for now?
I think we feel covered, but unless there's anything else.
I think the main thing right now would be if you're a business and you want to get better customer service. So where do people contact you? Where do people find the business? What's the reach out? Give us the big jazz hands reveal close part.
So it's Momntum with no E, so MOMNTUM .ai or .com, and pretty much on every social media network that's out there too. Reach out at any point, or I'm Brian at Momntum.ai. So pop me a mail directly, and I'd love to talk.
Cool. No, from my side, I think this is really fucking cool. Obviously, this podcast is live right now on YouTube. I'm going to get them up on all the podcasts from the last 2 days up on Spotify over the weekend. We are on all of the social channels at Goosed.ie, apart from X, and I keep saying it, we don't go there anymore because they're bad people. I'm going to get sued over that line eventually. But anyway, for now, good night, good morning, good luck. Whenever you're listening to this, drop us a like, drop us a comment, do the whole reviews. The more of them we get, the more of these kind of interviews we can get. So, day 2 in Dublin Tech Summit. Watch this space. We're going to do a few more interviews today. And for now, Brian, it's been absolutely wonderful. I think this is, I'm really excited about this. So, peace out, everybody.